Hello. Well, today is Thursday, the 16th, 2016. Just want to come and share some thoughts. I've been becoming very good friends with my delete key in the past week since this tragedy in Orlando. The thing I mean, I feel like this. All the negativity. I mean, to even think that would come up and say something nasty, some religious nut would come up and say something nasty about homosexuality at a time like this for these families and things. It's unconscionable. So unconscionable. I got it. Uh, I mean, what I've just discovered is I don't benefit anything by watching people posting or reposting or even hearing about people's hatred. I mean, I already know people in the world are hateful and evil, so I don't need to know that. So a big part of my when I go on Facebook, I spend the first part just going through and deleting anything about what some. I don't give a damn if it was positive or negative because frankly, some people, especially in religious community, gay religious community, they get so excited when some traditional preachers say, "Oh, I think they should be forgiven," or they say something nice, or who gives a damn what they said? I don't need their approval. It's like I think we do ourselves a disservice by putting these people on these pedestals, these religious people, like we're waiting for their approval. That's what's going to make our life better, and I just don't believe that it is. I don't need to hear anything negative about homosexual. I mean, I guess it was different when I was 19, 20, still finding myself, still subject me, still trying to find myself and so forth. But for a grown man, don't see me. I wish I could block every comment. I mean, why would I care about what Westboro Church, Baptist Church, some Hickson on some back road somewhere, what they have to say about me or say about dead soldiers? Or I mean, it doesn't benefit me at all. I don't know why. I just can't don't know why I should be forwarding a message about some preacher somewhere says something negative about me, and we know it exists. I remember back in I guess I was still struggling a little bit back in the 80s and so forth. People would tell me, and I would meet people on the streets and things, and they would tell me, "Oh, my uncle was a Klansman." And even now, it kind of chokes me up because I'm thinking, why in the fuck would you tell me that? Why would that be interesting to me? So what? Your goddamn uncle was a bigot. The thing is, even people in my own family, even people who have given birth to me, I wouldn't give a damn if you say certain things to me about what your feelings are based on an ancient book. You can damage that relationship a whole lot. So I'm sure there are people who I care about who are heterosexual people, and I don't think it makes much difference whether they're in my family or out, even though I do love my family. But certain ideas they may have, they best keep that to themselves. I don't have no desire to know that because it changes the whole relationship. After you then told me, sent me to hell and all that, it's very hard for me to go back to seeing you the same way I saw you before I knew that about you. So, go into your little church. Y'all can go in there and be hateful if you want to, and I know many still do. I do believe that there's been some progress as far as public, what they say on television, what they say online, stuff like that. That's changed some in the last few years, quite a bit in the last few years, actually. So there's progress made, but I don't need their approval. So I wish I could just stop people from posting. People post pictures of the Ku Klux Klan and black people hanging from trees and stuff. I don't want to see that. It always raises my blood pressure because I know that there are hateful people in the earth. I do not need to know that. But obviously, everyone's still in mourning about the kids, about the young people in Orlando, and so am I. You know, the way the system works here, though, after the story breaks, then CNN is this. CNN is that's primarily what I watch. CNN, MSNBC. All they do is the same story over and over and over and over and over and over again. After they killed the motherfucker, that was really, I mean, that's pretty much it. As we can go pull him up and kill him again. So I can, I'll watch for an hour or two a day, but that's about as much as I can take in. Anyway, so I know I had some kinds, I had something I want to talk about before I signed on today. So let me try to pull it together. Um, yeah, so you're not going to agree on everything. I remember when I got out of the pen, I used I used to pray for God, please, you know, uh, ignite my interest again in reading the Bible. I mean, when I was in the pen, I was first became a Christian. I read it every day, all day, for a period. Well, I was getting to when I was learning my faith or what it was to start establishing my faith, but I hadn't been able to get back into it since I got out of there. And what I realize now is perhaps I'm not supposed to. I was never supposed to worship the Bible. That was never supposed to become my God. That's idolatry. When you make these words that people keep harping on, 100 years, 1,000 years, just on and 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years, you've made the Bible God. So that's idolatry in my mind. So maybe that's not where I'm supposed to be. God wants to have a relationship with you. And after you have the relationship, just have it. Just have it. Good morning, God. I love you. God bless you. And say excuse me when you bump into people. It's just become part of who you are. You don't need to be going back and trying to find a scripture that said this back 6,000 years ago. Now, why would something that happened 6,000 years ago be having anything to do with today? I mean, they're not the same thing. People. So I don't want to go on no big old religious tangent. That's not my intention. But uh, yeah. So it's religious stuff. I mean, this situation is obviously based in religion. My personal opinion, sure, I made an opinion. I mean, it's been showing these images night and day for a week, and so I believe probably that this guy wasn't even affiliated with any sort of terrorist group. I think he probably was having sexual difficulty, self-hatred, based on religion. In religion, his father said, "Well, he saw two men kissing." Well, I got news for you. If he was going to Pulse many times, he certainly saw a man kissing before. So it could not have been that. If he's on Grinder, I mean, you know what they show on Grinder? They show big pictures of big, huge assholes and dicks and balls and all. That's what they do on there. They show more body parts than they show your face. So he wasn't that naive. So for him to tell his father that means he's still struggling with trying to impress his father that was not in him. He probably made his final phone calls just so he could align himself with some terrorist group to divert from the fact that he was having uh, this love-hate situation with his sexuality. I mean, more will be revealed, and I hesitate to just give a whole slew of opinions because then they are wrong next week, and I feel like a damn fool. But it seems like he wanted to line himself with that because that would give him a reason to go and do what he did. I remember in school, all through school, the bullies were generally, when you run into them years later, they were gay. Then even they were fighting what was in them to divert attention from what was in them. There was probably people already starting to suspect him. His ex-wife said she suspected him, even though he was beating the shit out of her. I mean, she probably didn't have much say in the relationship. But through all that, why would she come up with, I think he could be gay? So there's something it's based on something. So we have to love ourselves, people. Even though we're not going to do, none of us are going to do what this fool did. We can carry that hatred, self-hatred around in ourselves, and do usually harm to ourselves because we can't accept ourselves based in religion. So be very careful with religion. I guess those are my thoughts. It's just so much. I mean, you go online and everybody's so excited about telling you what some hick said in some southern countries, southern state somewhere, who has nothing to do with your life. They ain't got nothing to do with it either. You know what? Since we're on religion again, it's in us. I mean, it's all in all of our societies. Uh, I was just thinking, oh, so of all the careers, this is kind of a side, but of all the careers, I don't know, black folks have really locked into it, where you can make a good living, position in the in the communities, be somebody, be all you can be, and all that. It's become religion in our community, I believe. It was never supposed to be a career. It was supposed to be ministry, helping the sick, the widows and the orphans. It's supposed to be a good thing in the earth, but it's become a vocation. Because think about when you go to college, when you read 100 books, 200 books, these people only got to read one book, master one book of rhetoric, and then 2 weeks later they're in the news. So be just very careful, people, about what you take, what you let into your spirit. You don't got to listen to that shit. I used to think I had to listen to it. Boy, I was hooked on that damn Christian television for 2 years, and it was always ended up every sermon. It seems like ended up with some comment about some negativity around homosexuality. Like homosexuality is the primary thing in the book. I was amazed. I was absolutely shocked when I read that book, nearly from cover to cover, whole lot of the New Testament. But I was amazed at how little that word is even uttered in the Bible. They talk a whole lot more about adultery. These preachers, they don't even preach about murder. They don't say a damn thing about murder. You can go to church. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, it's not a joke. But people do not preach about murder. You say, oh, only a few people murdered. No, honey, turn your TV on. Turn your television on or look at what this fool just did. It's a big, huge deal. How about preaching about thievery? When you go to church, I don't hear nothing about no thievery in church. And you know how we steal in this country. Everybody values things. And so many crooks. They ought to watch, what's that show I love so much? The one, NBC, Suckers and Losers or some shit like that. Anyway, we're constantly stealing. We're constantly adulterers. And believe me, homosexuality would be way down on that list of the sins that people commit we don't even preach about lying. Our churches don't preach about lying. When's the last time you heard in the service somebody tell you talk to you about lying? They're only obsessed with sex, and then they do it anyway. They do it anyway. Listen, I ain't got myself all lost. I better sign out pretty soon here. I'm jumping all over the place, but yeah, pay attention, people. Pay attention, and happy Thursday.